With the release of the well-anticipated Rainbow Friends Chapter 2, let's rank all the friends from both the chapter, so sit back and enjoy. In the 6th place, if none other than Orange. He is generally a pretty vaguely set up character in Chapter 1 and barely makes any appearance in Chapter 2, making a small cameo at the end of the chapter with the cart ride chase. In Chapter 1, he is easily avoidable through filling up his feeding machine or something, and he is barely a threat. He doesn't even have a knight solely for him, as even the third knight of his needs to be shared with Purple, who is a much cooler rainbow friend and antagonist. Add in an awful jump scare and a pretty bad looking design and you have the recipe for the worst rainbow friend on the list, which is shocking since he is one of the OG rainbow friend villains. Either way, let's move on to This is going to be super controversial, since Yellow has become a fairly popular and loved character in the fanbase. Yellow faces most of the same problems as Orange, being very easy to counter due to the bouncy castle, which is more interesting than Orange since it can almost be some sort of a last-ditch effort to run away in case you are cornered by the Rainbow Friends. Yellow suffers from a pretty low screen time and a fairly simple design. Only reason Yellow has managed to secure a 5th position over the Dorito Dragon that was Orange is because he has a cooler mechanic, unlike Orange, because Orange just kind of runs, but Yellow can fly to you and give you a pretty good scare sometimes. Again though, he is maybe a little bit too easy. Let's move on to number 4. Before explaining why, I just need to say that every character above number 6 is a great rainbow friend. With that being said, putting the main rainbow friend and the poster child of the show on number 5 is bound to get hate, but here I am. Blue is arguably more easier than Orange if I'm being honest, like he more blinder than Green, and Green has freaking googly eyes. Here's the thing, I'm sure that whoever is writing this story really wants Blue to have a good role in it, and he probably will, but I just kind of find it weird that he feels so forced whenever he is shown. That ending was probably one of the worst endings of all time, and I hope that they just end up writing him out of the next chapter. We need a good break from Blue, and he is just kind of getting annoying wherever he shows up. Let's move on to number 4. Also, sorry about the typos before, I forgot that there were 7 and not 6. Green is in my opinion the rainbow friend who should be the Blue of rainbow friends. He is everything that Blue is not. Green is honestly one of the harder rainbow friends to counter in the game since he is not affected by wearing the box in any ways. Green works against the player really well, and honestly, he is a little bit better than Orange and Blue. The googly eyes just make it scary, and he would get even scarier and get probably onto the top 3 if they somehow remove his googly eyes and make him look kind of scary with just a tongue coming out of a blind figure with just essentially wobbly limbs. Our second runner-up is going to be one of the MVPs of Chapter 2, and that being Cyan. This is a really interesting pick on my part because Cyan really doesn't get too much screen time. Here's the thing though, what is good is really good, and what is bad is kind of worse than anything. Anyways, starting with the good, this is one of the more scarier rainbow friends of the games. Cyan is the first female rainbow friend of the roster, at least the first confirmed female rainbow friend, but either way, it helps make the band a bit more broader than it was before. Cyan is also treated as the main antagonist for Chapter 2, which makes me feel pretty neutral, because while Cyan is a much better alternative to Blue, she is barely given any time to shine. Being introduced into the story and gameplay on the latter half feels weird. Having her have such an oddly menacing appearance but such wonky looking animation is weird too. Anyways, I don't expect much from this game, and it is great to see one of the newer characters this high on my list. Also, just that ending chase was pretty good, coming from where Rainbow Friends last stood. Let's move on to my runner-up. Our runner-up is going to be Purple. This is not biased, even though my favorite color is in fact purple. Here's the thing though, Purple is in my opinion the coolest antagonist because of how vague and mysterious he is kept. You never see his body in Chapter 1 or 2, which is super cool, and having him be one of the OG members while feeling the most distant is super awesome. I love how in Chapter 1, he has a different mechanic than he has in Chapter 2. Chapter 1 has him near puddles, and if you touch the puddles you, die. Chapter 2 gives him his entirely new area where he chases you, and honestly, this is so much better. He is the underrated MVP of this chapter. His jump scares are so much better than the others too, and honestly, this is the most overhated rainbow friend, with people hating him and saying that he's overrated. Let's move on to number 1. And the best rainbow friend is of course the subscribe button. What does it say? Press on it to make it go away. Do it, quickly. Ooh, thanks guys. What else do I see now? A like button. Oh, come on. Oh, thanks for getting me out of there. To no one's surprise, my first pick has got to be red. Just the amount of significance this beast of a character has on the story of Rainbow Friends is just insane. Firstly, he is the only rainbow friend to even remotely be able to think and talk and just do stuff we humans can. He might not even be a rainbow friend. Who knows? Maybe he's just wearing a looky head and is a normal human. Add to that how ominous this guy is, how weirdly he makes us do tasks and his evil plans, and how he is the reason everything occurs, and you have the recipe for the best character of Rainbow Friends, and I happily crown Cyan 3rd place, Purple 2nd place, and none other than Red the 1st place. But that will do it for my ranking of all the Rainbow Friends from Chapter 1 and 2. Do you agree with me or not? Comment down below and share it with your friends to see how the rankings overlap. Bye!